So the other day in a live stream, we were making a crack at the contender build. Do you remember that one? Yeah, it's the True Patriot build that we hacked into a hybrid skill build. Well, we put a new one together, and because of some of the new gear that we got since we created that build, the change is actually quite helpful. You're gonna like this one. Let's get into it.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
I have an entire playlist dedicated to hybrid skill builds. They're all vetted. Most of them are great for legendary and group play. Some of them can even solo legendary. I invite you to check that out. I try to maintain it as best I can and reinvigorate the builds, but all of them are unique to each other. And the one we're talking about today is the True Patriot hybrid skill build. This is one that the community refers to as the contender. The reason why we call it contender is because it contends with some of the other great hybrids that we created in the past. One of them was the Slaughter build, which is actually my personal favorite, and the Striker hybrid build, and of course the Game Over build, which is the hybrid boundary skill build. That one's crazy. So yeah, so this one was the contender. What's really cool about it is that we're using the True Patriot gear set to buff our teammates as well as buff our own skills, and we do that by debuffing the enemies. And so anything that shoots at them, including our primary weapon and our skills and our allies, are going to have more effective damage against them. On top of that, those enemies are going to have less effective damage against us. So lots of power and survivability, and your team is going to love you for this one. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And let's go ahead and take a look at the True Patriot gear set. So you're gonna get 30% ammo capacity and 30% magazine size. Our assault rifle is gonna love that. We'll get back to that. So the unique talent that comes with True Patriot is called red, white, and blue. This is not a new gear set, so I'm gonna try to go through this quickly. Every 2 seconds, enemies you shoot receive a stacking debuff of red, white, and blue. Red gives you amplified damage against that enemy by 8%. The white flag, shooting the enemy repairs the attacking agent's armor by 2% every second. And then blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 8%. And then when you have all of those flags on a single enemy, you're going to create a 5-meter explosion dealing damage equal to their total health and armor. And yeah, there's collateral damage to that. So you're going to need all 4 pieces of the gear set to get this to work. The primary weapon I'm running is the capacitor. This is an assault rifle. It's really good for hybrids. It's got 700 RPM, and with this gear set, it's got 53 in the mag. Very nice. There's a lot of unique things to this weapon. First, it's got a 10% crit chance mod and a 30% crit hit damage mod, also some weapon handling. It also has the largest damage to armor stat on any assault rifle at 12%, and then I put damage to targets at a cover on mine. 1.8 second reload. The talent is called capacitance. Shooting enemies built stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage, so that's 60% skill damage. And then for every yellow core on your build, in turn, you're gonna get 7.5% weapon damage. And then I'm running Technician because I want the additional damage to tech, making this a little bit more helpful and legendary. It's also giving me a skill tier. And then I have 10% more skill damage coming from the skill tree inside Technician. What you're gonna wanna do is farm 4 pieces of True Patriot, and you want every piece to basically look like this. They don't come like this, and you can't craft these. The best place to go to find these is probably going to be Countdown. Yeah, so if you've been looking for something to farm, I have given you a task. This is gonna be a task. So it normally comes with like some sort of crit and an armor core, but you're gonna be looking for them with skill damage so that you can put the skill tier. The good news is you don't need to do that on every piece. But for mods here, I have protection from elites. You can put skill haste, but you're not gonna have to worry about skill haste. I'll show you that in a minute. For the gloves, I have an armor core here and crit chance. Really, I would rather have skill damage. I just couldn't find where my skill damage one is, but this is one of the easy ones to farm because it's going to already have armor on it. So just optimize it or whatever, and then re-roll the attribute to skill damage. All right, the knees are what you would expect here. I have a skill tier and more skill damage, and then the holster is exactly the same. So skill damage and a skill tier. So the chest is clutch. So this is the change from the original. So this is an updated one. So if you've been using the contender or you liked using it in the past, then I'm giving you a good excuse to try it out again, because now we're going to give you 10% armor on kill in addition to everything else. So we got the blue core here, and then we got skill haste, skill damage, and then more protection from elites. And then I decided to go with kinetic momentum for legendary content. You can also go glass cannon if you want to. You can spark and overwatch, but I felt like this one was the best. So this is going to give you 15% damage to each of your skills when in combat. And there's nothing you have to do to proc it. You just have to start fighting and deploy your skills. So the backpack is the memento. This one sets up the build nicely. It's going to give you that additional skill tier that you need to get the full 6. And then we got an armor core and weapon damage. So we're now tanky. And then we have more protection from elites. So if you notice, I got 3 blue cores on the build. That's a 1.3 million in armor. We're gonna get 30% armor on kill, or bonus armor on kill, I should say, and then 10% real armor on kill. And then when you collect 30 memento stacks, you're gonna get 3% armor regen. But it's also about the skill efficiency, which brings skill health, skill damage, status effects, all that good stuff, including duration. So when you got full stacks, you can have 30% of that. And then every time you pick up a trophy, you're gonna get 5% more skill efficiency per skill tier. You can have 6 of those. So that's 30 on 30. And then it continues to stack from there, depending on how well you are doing. So for legendary content, this isn't gonna stack super fast, but by the 2nd or 3rd checkpoint, you should be full unless you're dying a lot. But this one is kind of tanky, so that's up to you and your positioning. Turret placement is key. You're also going to be getting 30% weapon damage from this backpack. So in my opinion, there's no better backpack for hybrids. You get it all and it's progressive and it stays with you. Unless you die, then you have to recollect your trophies. That does suck. For skills, I am using a turret. Of course, there's no memento stacks here. It doesn't show any of our buffs here, but at base it's 100,000 and it's a 6 skill tier. And then the other skill is the striker drone. Just put on your damage and duration mods. Quick tip on your backup weapon, you could run something with future perfection, thereby putting your skills in overcharge from time to time. A good idea would be to stick it on a rifle. There's a named rifle that gives you the perfect version of that talent. But this is a great little build. It's really nice to be able to buff your team and yourself and your skills at the same time. So remember to mark as many targets as you possibly can before you start focus firing. The bigger mag and more ammo are definitely going to help in that department, and your skills are really going to appreciate it. You can see your skills killing things a lot faster. Great survivability, but you can die. Those legendaries throw a lot of explosives at you. But one of the cool things about hybrids, or really skill builds that use turrets and drones in general for legendary, are that they do a really good job of deterring incoming explosives. So they take the heat for you, and that can make legendary, all in all, just much more enjoyable of an experience, especially the more difficult ones that just pelter you with drones. I think Tidal Basin is one of those. Roosevelt starts out that way, at least. Anyways, let me know what you think about this one. Catch you in the next. Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is Tuxedo Bandito. That's Tito Bandito.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
This was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandito to support the channel. Easy peasy. Now maybe this cheapskate can afford to sign me up for that dating app I've had my eyes on.
Follow me.
I get it.